The bus stopped at the Lionsgate Sea Research Center. My class was going to learn about the local ecosystem. Our task was to record the plants and animals we saw, then write a report about one of them. I joined my friends Rokshar, Kaya, and Max Rogers near the water's edge. The building was behind us, but the mist hid it and made the morning damp and gray. Max shivered and pulled the collar of his coat close. I shivered too, but not because of the cold. Lionsgate, Washington, was the spookiest place I'd ever lived. Strange lights shone in the sky. People disappeared into the mist. Even the water was creepy. It was endless, and the fog made it impossible to see below its surface. Every wave seemed to roll closer, as if trying to catch hold of our feet and drag us under. Max and I were sure the town was home to supernatural creatures. Rokshar thought it was spooky because of secret projects at Eden Lab, the research facility where our parents worked. She figured the strange events were science experiments running wild. So far, we hadn't been able to prove either of our theories. The bus driver honked his horn goodbye as my dad and Max's Uncle Nelson exited. They were helping to chaperone our trip. Dad came over and put his hand on my shoulder. "When I was a kid, I used to go sailing with my dad. I can't wait to be on the water again." "I've been so busy working on the research center's renovations, I haven't done any of their boat tours," said Nelson. "I'm excited." I wasn't. Monsters like krakens lived in the water. On my left, the sea began to bubble. The tip of a fin appeared. I edged away. Dad and Nelson, though, walked near the waves. "Cool things wash up on shore," Dad called to me. "Come, look." "I'm okay," I said, and hoped I didn't sound scared. Nelson picked something up and showed Dad. They seemed excited, and I was curious. I started for them, then froze, as a growling roar echoed across the water. My ears tingled. So did my heart. "Wild, hey?" said my teacher, Mix Hudson, as they came up to me. "There must be a group of sea lions around the bend. They sure make a racket." Mix Hudson turned to the group. "Everyone, please gather in. This is Captain Hoja." Mix Hudson gestured to the tall blonde woman next to them. She smiled and waved. "Captain Hoja is going to give us our safety review. Then we'll head on to the boat for a tour around the island," said Mix Hudson. Unease trickled down my neck. Last week, my friends and I had seen a ghostly shape moving across the sand. When we investigated, there was no one around. There weren't even footprints. Just thinking about it made my skin crawl. What if that something was still out there? After the safety review, Dad and I put on our life jackets. I started to ask Dad what he and Nelson had found, but Dad nudged me and asked, "What did the sea say to the sailor?" I shrugged. "Nothing," said Dad as we boarded. "It just waved." I groaned. He laughed. Max crossed his fingers. "I hope I see a killer whale." "Me too," said Rokshar. Captain Hoja motored to a cove on the island. "Record the plants and animals you see," said Mix Hudson. My friends and I saw a bald eagle and a warbler, but no whales. Rokshar pointed to the cliffside. It stood to the right of the research center. In front of it, the water had turned orange-red. "Look, it's a harmful algal bloom. That's what happens when there's an overgrowth of phytoplankton." She looked over the railing. "There's some on the boat's hull." "Is it dangerous?" I asked. "Sometimes," she said, "but we're not touching it or anything." "Wait a second," said Max, twisting around. "Where did my uncle and Asim's dad go?